This is an analysis of the political cartoon Earth Day versus Every Other Day by Hannah Moda. Um, to start off with the context, the time would be considered current, modern day, specifically this week, as Earth Day was yesterday on April 22nd. So this would be considered an advertisement of importance, and with the increasing concern for the environment in the past couple of years, as well as the place. The first half of the advertisement is shown as being near the farmer's market, whereas the second half is in traffic in front of a drugstore or superstore, as well as this highlights the stark contrast between the two different locations. The people involved in this ad, well, the earth does symbolize as well as represents the average person in today's society. Events, once again, Earth Day, and the motivating force behind the author would be concern and disapproval of people who ignore environmental problems. Not ignore, but rather only choose to pay attention to those problems on one specific day of the year, meaning Earth Day. The author's exigence, once again, could be that the hypocritical attitudes of people towards Earth Day, where their only concern for the environment occurs on one day out of the year. Once again, this leads to the audience, where the author of this, or the artist of this, assumes that the audience is aware that Earth Day exists and is on April 22nd, as well as he assumes that they are participating in the belief that they only care about the environment when it's convenient to them. So therefore, the author wants to be perceived as attentive and concerned about the environment, and once again, he wants to, or not wants, but he presumes that they care about the environment when it's convenient for them, as depicted in this ad. So his overall purpose of this ad would be to call out the hypocrisy of people who are only concerned about the environment one day out of the year, whereas instead of being concerned and paying attention to the increasing problems every day. So the overall tone of this could be considered ironic, hypocritical, judgmental from the author's part, and critical. So with specific reference to the ad, the first half of the ad has Earth Day with an exclamation point. So first off, starting with the text, the exclamation point draws attention and it gives a more excited mood to the picture, as well as the sun and the blue sky and the pink and green flowers give a happy and joyful mood to when viewing the advertisement. And the earth is smiling and riding a bike, and the bike is shown as a better option, as well as the farmer's market sign represents an organic alternative, or is shown as an organic alternative, and it's saying the advertisement is showing that the earth, which represents once again the general population or people or the average person, that on Earth Day people are more aware and attentive to these environmental problems and are more conscientious of their decisions. Therefore, the illustrator of this advertisement is showing them as caring and willing to try and prevent these problems, whereas he shows the stark contrast in the next picture, where the earth, which once again represents the people, is sitting in traffic with all these pollutions, and the colors are drastically changing with grays and blacks, and gives a gloomy mood to the scene, as well as the title of the store that the Earth, quote unquote, is going to, is a mega superstore. So once again, this is in contrast to the farmers market, saying that that we as a society or people choose to return to our daily activities and ignore the increasing problems that the environment is dealing with, or problems that are occurring, as well as the speech bubble. The Earth is sighing, so the author is showing his disappointment with the audience through this, because the sigh is a symbol of, not symbol, but a indicator of his disappointment, as well as judgment towards people who show that every other day they are not as concerned. So once again, the first picture depicts a happy and overall conscientious version of society. However, the second picture draws attention and is almost a jarring and shocking difference, and this difference helps draw attention to point out and to call out the hypocrisy of people, because they only choose to care about the environment on one day out of the year. And he's showing this once again with the two separate pictures, as well as the line in the middle of the picture helps establish that difference between the two. And you'll notice in the second picture the car is blue, whereas all the other cars are darker colored as gray. And so the blue could still represent good and happiness. However, he's surrounded by the smog and smoke, which once again represents the author's disappointment. So overall, the political cartoon Earth Day versus Every Other Day by Matson ironically displays the happy Earth coming from the farmer's market, and contrasts it with this the sad Earth stuck in traffic in front of the superstore, to point out the hypocrisy in people's everyday actions and concern about the environment. And here is my capstone and works cited.